How's it going? This is CardinalBird5, and today I wanted to make a video and kind of explain the new hitting interfaces in MLB The Show, especially the new directional hitting. So I've been getting a lot of questions, well, how does directional hitting work? Do they take pure analog out? What's the difference between analog input and just pure analog? So a lot of different questions, so I'm going to try to answer those questions for you guys today. So we're going to go back to the batting practice. If you guys watched my last hitting tutorial video, I strongly recommend batting practice. So we're going to go back to batting practice. For the sake of this video, I'm going to choose Miguel Cabrera because he's, one of the league's best hitter, if not the best hitter. And I want to face an easier pitcher just so I can kind of showcase the directional hitting interface. I'll also show you guys the analog options as well. So let me find a pitcher to face here. We'll do Charlie Morton. Half of the user input out of your hands, which is the PCI placement. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. I'm gonna kind of show you guys, how it works. First, let's go to the options. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on All-Star. Okay. You pretty much have two interfaces. I know it has pure analog on there, but really there's directional and zone. Then you have two input options, buttons or analog. So really there's four different ways to hit. Okay, you can use zone with buttons, which has been in MLB The Show since its inception. That's pretty much what I use. There's also zone analog. So for analog this year, all you do is flick up for a normal swing, and then you hit it to the side for a contact, and then you pull it down and then up, kind of like in the past with the stride. For power, except you don't really control the stride. But the difference between buttons and analog is really minimal this year. I mean, if you haven't used analog in the past, you could probably do it this year just easy because you just flick it up. There's no aiming. So then we have directional, and same thing. You can use analog or buttons. It really doesn't matter. I kind of prefer buttons, but it's whatever you guys prefer. I think the more important thing is choosing what hitting interface you guys want to use. They also have pure analog on here, but really pure analog is the exact same thing as directional with analog. The only difference is if you use directional analog, you can actually aim inside or outside before the pitch. So if you're going to use analog, you might as well use directional analog. I mean, if you just pure analog is the same thing as directional analog and just leaving it in the middle. So I would just use directional analog. That way you do have more options and you get ahead. You get ahead in the count 2-0. You can, aim inside and try to pull it. Some other things to let me talk about for directional interface is you do have the PCI option on or off and the camera shift. So the PCI, when it's on directional, it actually toggles the directional arrows, which I'll show you here in a second. And then the camera shift will actually shift the camera depending on where you're focusing at. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do buttons, directional, and we're going to leave the PCI on and camera shift on just to show you guys. Alright, so say I want to look inside. You see how it toggles? There's a yellow. Alright, shades yellow for inside, and then the whole camera shifts for inside. You can also do up and in, for a fly ball inside. See, the good thing about this is if they do pitch away, you'll lay off of it. But there's pros and cons of not using it as well. So you can aim up or down for ground ball or fly ball. We haven't really got anything to hit yet. Something else to keep in note: when you aim up or down, you're trying to get a fly ball when you aim up, regardless if the pitch is low. So even if it's low, you can still get a fly ball. Don't think you have to aim down just to hit it low. That's not true. You can still try to get a fly ball. Now the chances of you getting a fly ball might be a little bit lower. That's just how it works. So that's really situational based. If you got a power hitter, I would recommend trying to hit it in the air as much as possible. That's a slow curveball. Same thing if you're looking away. It's gonna shift the camera. So let's see what we get here. Man, I'm really early. So pretty much that's how it works. I'm not a fan of this. I don't really like the camera moving on me like that. You guys might like that, but I'm not a fan of it. But it really is up to you guys. It can help you, and it also depends what camera you're using. So now something else I should mention about directional hitting: when you leave it in the center, meaning you don't touch anything, it essentially turns into timing hitting, which has been an interface since I think the show's inception as well. Timing and zone has always been in there. The thing with timing, again, you don't really have control of your PCI. So what I've been noticing when using directional hitting is that timing hitting can be just as effective. Even at, like, say if I'm looking for a pitch inside and I just leave it in the middle, I've found that you can still pull the ball just as well rather than shifting inside. I'm starting to, or at least my initial impressions, I'm starting to think that looking inside, aiming inside, I think the biggest pro would be that it shifts the camera for you and allows you to focus on that part. I don't really think it helps you hit the inside pitches any better, but that's just my initial impression. You guys may have, experienced something else. And something else to keep in mind is it depends on what type of hitter you have, because I was hitting earlier with Goldschmidt, and he's pretty much a pull hitter. So when I went into the back control, which I'll go into now, and I had the, I was trying to hit away pitches. Even when I had good timing, he was still missing or rolling over and just popping up. So I think Miguel Cabrera, he's a little more balanced hitter, so we'll see how that works. But when you guys try directional hitting, I recommend going into batting practice and using this back control, because it's going to help you get familiar with it the best. So when you use it like this, yeah, it can be a good way, to hit. If you get down, if you're down 0-2 or 1-2, I would recommend just leaving it in the middle. So that's pretty much how this, directional hitting was intended to be used. However, if you guys have played MVP baseball before, you know that this is pretty similar to that. And when I used to hit an MVP baseball, I kind of moved it, in the middle of the pitch. So I don't want to be using, the camera shifts while I do that, because that kind of messes you up. I mean, you might be able to get away with it. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take it off and show you what it looks like with them off, and then we're going to try reacting to the pitch. So we're going to turn the PCI off. Again, what this does, see, it takes the yellow shaded area off. But you notice the camera's still moving, so to take that off, just go down the camera shift off. Alright. So, like I said, in MVP baseball, it was pretty similar to this. However, I'm noticing it to be a little bit different. So I don't recommend this approach to everybody, but this is going to be another approach for directional. I just kind of showed you guys the fundamentals of it. Now I'm going to show you another way to use it. So in MVP baseball, what I would do, I would pretty much look inside. That way, if it's heat, I could turn on it and I'd be ready for it. If it wasn't inside and it was away, I would still be able to react, push my left analog to the outside. And I would, I got good at it where I could be just late and hit it the opposite field. So that's kind of how I did MVP baseball. I didn't leave it, on one spot only. However, on this game, again, I think that it might not be as effective as it was on MVP baseball, but you still might want to give it a try, because you guys might do well with it. Oh, let me go ahead and restart. So I'll kind of use that strategy. Even this is back control, so I'm looking inside. That worked out. Again, this is Miguel Cabrera. So let me change modes here. Let's just go to discipline, so we get random pitches and random locations. So again, I'm going to be looking inside and I'm going to try to react. See, that's exactly what I did there. I was looking inside. He threw me a high, I think it was a changeup. Yeah, he threw me a high changeup, and I was able to read the changeup, wait back, and then I did push to the outside there, and I still got a good hit. So that might be another way to use this interface. So I haven't, really tried it too much online yet. but I think it could be an effective way to hit. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm definitely gonna stick with zone most of the year. But I recommend you guys, even if you're zone users or if you've been using pure analog in the past, to give it a try, because it is a nice way to hit. It is a little bit more realistic. When they were doing the live streams, they were saying, this is more realistic. This is how batters, approach it. And that is true. But you can also have that same approach with PCI or with a zone. So, and if you guys just can't figure out anything, and you guys are new to online, or not even online, if you're just new to the show, and you're struggling with all the interfaces, I recommend just using buttons, using directional, and just leaving it in the middle so it'll turn into timing. I think that would be, I still think it's an effective way to hit. However, I believe you're limiting yourself, especially on those pitches on the black or in the corners. It's going to be harder to hit those. Like, something to remember when you're using directional, like I said, you're taking half of the user input away, so that other half is coming from attributes, which is, the pitcher's attributes, the K per 9, hits per 9, as well as the hitter's attributes, the plate vision, and contact and power. So, I mean, you can, like, I was getting good timing on some pitches and I was still whipping. It really just depends. But anyways, guys, I hope that cleared up some confusion. If you guys have any more questions, or you're wondering, or if you have any more tactics to use with this, let me know. But I hope it did help you clear up some of the questions you guys were asking. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and this is Cardinal Bird 5 signing out. Take care.